morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to the podcast. I'm with, on my right in the middle,
Jaro.
and we've got a special guest right here.
Year one.
Are we back, baby? Yeah, that was good.
What's up?
Second
We back.
shoot in the location. You know how it is.
So you say your name?
My name Ethan.
His name
My
is
name
Ethan.
Ethan. My
Idan.
name
If you guys
His
like
name
that
is
intro,
Idan.
let us know. If you didn't, also let us know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Amen,
yeah,
brother.
yeah.
Now we gotta do the proper intro. Jar, do it.
Go on then.
What's up, party people? There we go.
Yeah. Keep it fresh.
You
keep it
thought
moving.
you could escape that
You
this time.
thought-
Your ears thought
Not
wrong.
today. Not
Mm-mm.
today.
Not today. Never.
Nuh-uh.
No, never let. Dap it up.
Oosh.
Oh, dap it up. That's alright.
Hey,
That's
chuck it
alright.
in,
That's alright.
topoki.
That's alright.
Let's go.
All
right. So we got our special guest here, Year One, aka Topoki,
AKA the
Nice.
Korean killer.
the
Oh,
Korean.
man.
No.
Kill-
What
We're not
was
gonna
it?
talk about
the killer
that.
Korean.
The killer
We're not gonna talk
Oh, the
about
Korean killer. That's the wrong way. My bad.
No, she is Korean. No,
She
yeah,
is
right.
Korean.
We good.
Yeah,
All right, so why don't you introduce yourself, Year
Yeah,
One?
go ahead.
Oh, okay. Hello, my name is Year One. I am 21 years old. I don't know. What do they want to know?
What do you do?
What do I do? Okay, I study full time, doing classical performance, majoring in violin. I run a business. I run a music school, and I'm on social media.
She's on social media. So are we all.
Yeah,
Yes. So are we all.
yeah. No, I was gonna add to that. Yes, yeah. Like what Ethan said, we're
Uh-huh,
all on
uh-huh.
social media, but
Yes.
to what extent
What
you
makes
are?
you so special?
Yeah.
What makes me so special? Well, I am pretty much a content creator. So it's like
Ooh.
another level of marketing. So
Okay. Yeah.
the brand is in contact with me, and then they say, hey, I'll send you this, and I'll send you my product. I want you to do this. So it could be like an Instagram story, or you could take a photo with it.
Mm.
But this is what I want.
So you're promoting the product.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And then this is what I want. This is how much I pay you. Here you go.
That's a dream come true.
Yeah, yeah,
If
yeah.
anyone wants to sponsor us, we'll be happy to do that as
Hey,
well.
Yep.
hey, it's
Yeah.
quite hard sometimes. I don't know.
And
Fair enough. Fair
what
enough.
do you do for fun?
Mm.
What I do for fun, I always go to the beach. The beach is my go-to.
Let's go
my,
to beach.
The beach is my happy place.
The beach is your happy place. Perth beaches are pretty
Yes, the Perth beaches are
Any-
supreme.
good. Any beach recommendations?
Mm.
Ooh, beach recommendations. Ooh, to swim or to just chill?
Chill.
Oh, okay, yeah, let's
To
chill.
chill?
Let's
Say
do
chill,
all
let's-
rounder. Let's do like a you know I'm gonna go to Macca's, but this time you know I'm gonna go to that beach. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go to that
Okay,
beach.
okay.
So it's like your
Okay.
go-to spot.
I didn't get that, but okay.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
It's like
Right.
your go-to.
My go-to spot is probably Cottesloe.
Really?
Cottesloe.
Cottesloe.
No way.
Okay,
Alright.
there's like the Cottesloe bit. I think people that go to the beach will know. There's like the bit where like everyone goes, where like the step is and like Ilito is, and there's like that Gelari pot like
Mm.
place.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But if you drive down a little bit further, there's like the dog beach part, and all like the dogs go, and like you can
Oh.
just chill
So
there.
you're swimming with the dogs.
I am swimming with the dogs,
Oh,
but
oh,
it's
That's pretty cute.
okay.
That's pretty cute.
All right.
Yeah, it's quite
So
cute.
more of an overall rating. I was gonna go with Leighton
Oh,
Oh, That's
okay.
it.
Leighton's all right,
because
but
it's more of a family beach, and I think it's more
oh,
chill.
that's true.
know
That's
what-
Cottesloe's a
true.
bit hectic
I
sometimes.
don't know what
isn't
beach
it?
I
It
go
is,
to.
it
It's
is.
like got a little dock and everything. I mean, a little jetty.
Oh, is that?
But then it's like super shallow. The sand's like super soft, and then sometimes if you really feel like it, then you just step on the starfish and you just pull it out.
Oh, Coogee.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was
Coogee.
thinking
Coogee.
But it's
Yeah,
like not
Coogee.
Coogee.
Isn't the jetty like
It's like
out?
down Coogee. Yeah, very out. It's like
Yeah.
somewhere further down, so the sand's a bit softer. You know when the
Okay,
sand's like
okay.
comfortable? It's like
Yeah,
a little soft little.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I don't go to the beach often, you know.
Okay.
So
But yeah,
Sure.
all right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
that's
So,
me.
but that's the summertime. Do you do that
Mhm.
during winter as well? Do you just go to the beach?
I literally go to the beach all year round. I
Whoa.
won't swim. I
Okay.
won't swim.
All right. Okay.
But
So
I'll
you're not
just sit
mad.
there.
That's all right.
I'm not mad.
Okay.
But yes, the beach is my happy place.
Oh, that's good. That's good. That's good. Any more?
Nah, not really. I mean, what else would?
How about we ask you this? How about if you had a superpower, what would it be?
Oh gosh, I've thought about this before. I feel like having a superpower would be very lonely. Like I feel
Your
like
superpower would be very, very
no,
lonely.
no. Having
heard
a
it wrong, you heard it wrong.
superpower
Oh, having a
would be
superpower.
very lonely. Like think about like let's
But
say
why?
if you're okay, what would yours be?
Okay, wait. I thought I wanted the power of teleportation.
Yeah, me too.
Okay,
Easy
but like
dubs.
if you could like teleport everywhere,
Yeah.
I feel like wouldn't you have like your moments where you're like, damn, I wish I couldn't do
But
this.
what if you want to teleport to a friend's house to be less lonely? You know what I'm saying?
To be less what?
To be less lonely.
Like, you know,
So like right now,
problem
innit?
solved.
Right now, I got my grandparents in Malaysia,
Mm-hmm.
and I really want to see them. All right.
Mm-hmm.
If I could teleport, I would do it. No doubt. I would do it.
No cap. All right.
That's
Okay,
facts.
but then what if like people start to like exploit you? Like, can you teleport with other people?
Oh, I usually say I can because I base it off Jumper. Have you watched
Oh
Jumper
yeah, yeah.
before?
That's
No, I
when
haven't.
I think of teleporting. I think of
I
jumper.
think of Jumper.
Yeah.
So
You
Jumper
haven't
is
seen
pretty
it?
much-
No,
Yeah,
I
you
haven't.
Oh.
I
It's
haven't.
It's pretty much you
seen
can
that.
like touch somebody, and
You could, yeah.
and then
Could
you're
you
there.
go?
You're
and,
there.
and you, if you have the same
You're
ability
there.
and they kind of leave a trace or a trail and
Oh,
you kind of
yeah.
like
You
touch
can
it and
follow
then
it.
you follow it. Yeah.
So it's
pretty-
lit.
Okay.
It's pretty cool. It's pretty
Yeah.
cool. Yeah.
I think I would. Oh man, I'm stuck between these two. I would have the power to heal any sickness,
Mm.
or to make. Oh, I don't. But I feel like this isn't a superpower. Or like to make a family comfortable. If that makes sense. Like a struggling family, like comfortable. I feel like you don't
In
have to be like.
particular, like
Yeah.
the kid's like crying on the floor, like really depressed. It's like family's
And,
gone.
like,
You just can't do anything. Sorry, you don't have a family.
Oh man. Oh.
Why did you
okay.
do like to
Okay.
make people?
To make me
More comfortable.
people more comfortable. Okay, yeah,
Oh,
that's
that's good. That's
Wait,
pretty good.
I feel like I haven't heard
Yeah.
Jara answer this question.
What? Which
Just
one?
What would you
teleporting.
be?
That's
No,
you?
literally, yeah.
That's it?
It's always teleporting.
Yeah, I mean that's my
Really?
number one, but my second one
Yeah.
that would be like more basic, is being cool with animals. I'm
Like Dr.
chilling, right?
Dolittle.
Yeah, I'm chilling, and then like somebody pissed me off. Magpie, swoop his ass.
Yeah, right.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
It's
So you want to be
dangerous.
Snow White.
Oh, I guess so.
So
I don't-
you're
hey,
Snow White.
No, but
Snow
Snow
White-
White has to
Snow-
sing.
Snow White, the best princess by far, though.
Okay,
Won't
why?
lie. 'Cause she can talk to animals.
Because she can talk to animals. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. All
Very
right. All
nice.
right.
No
Yeah,
cap.
yeah,
Nice.
yeah,
Is it
okay.
Snow White or Sleeping
Okay.
Beauty?
No, it's Snow White.
Snow White.
Sleeping
Snow White.
Beauty
It's
is
Snow
the,
White. They
the-
both fall asleep,
Oh
but
no!
What's
but-
it? The dwarves.
Oh, true.
Isn't
Wait,
it?
did I really just miss out on saying my favorite princess Mulan?
Oh my gosh.
Damn.
But-
no,
oh
no.
yeah.
But yeah, anyways.
Well,
Wait, okay. I know we're getting off topic, but who's your favorite princess?
my favorite princess was Mulan.
That's Mulan.
Oh wow.
Second.
Yeah,
What's
it
your
is.
second favorite? Gotta be Pocahontas.
Nah, man.
It's gotta be Pocahontas.
You see her falling down that waterfall? Damn, it's majestic. It's majestic.
Honestly, I never thought about that.
Really?
Yeah, never thought about it. My
Raya's
default is
alright.
Mulan.
Like the
Who?
new one, Raya.
Oh yeah, but she's, but she's
Araya?
not a princess.
Apparently she is.
Oh,
She
Apparently.
technically.
then I
is.
pick her then.
Oh yeah.
That movie was great.
okay.
That movie
She
made
was,
me cry a
she
couple
was a
times.
bit arrogant, but she got there at the end.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
What about you,
That's
Yuan?
true.
Favorite princess? You got no Korean
I
princesses, do they?
I don't think so. I don't
Oh,
think there's any
Next one up then.
Korean. But I like Tiana from Princess and the Frog.
Oh, I
Yeah.
heard that's a
oh,
good movie.
man.
Wait, do you not watch it?
No.
It's
Do you know when
so
she make those powdered sugar,
good.
the little thing?
Dude,
oh.
I always wanted to eat
Oh my
that,
gosh.
man. Like it
Oh
looks
my-
so
yeah,
good.
Dude, cartoon food hit different.
Oh,
it hit different.
man. It
Mm.
does.
It
It
hit
really,
different.
really does.
Mm.
But yeah,
So,
all right.
Well, yeah, okay.
Let's
I
go
guess
warm
we'll,
up. Let's-
we'll go into what we're talking
Let's
about
get
today.
into it.
Yeah,
Well,
let's
actually,
get
we had
into it.
a very interesting discussion one time about culture and like, I mean, it's pretty broad, you know, like
Yeah.
in terms of like coming from a different background,
Mm.
from your traditional Western families and all that. Like we talked about specifically, like I don't know, like for the statistic of like, let's for example, we'll
Yeah.
open up with this interesting fact that most Asian men in the Western society get less swipes than any other ethnic group on dating apps.
Yeah, I remember talking about this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, again, it's very broad, but I know that this is something that you're very passionate about. So, I mean, I don't really have any specific questions to like probe from you. But, you know,
Yeah.
how about we start with like how you were raised and like how you, I guess, like your experiences with growing up in a Western society, being that you're
Yeah, for sure.
from Korea, right?
For sure.
And
Yeah,
you were not born here.
No, it wasn't.
Okay,
I wasn't.
yeah. So go ahead. Floor's yours.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, for context, I was born in Korea. So, my parents married, they had me, and I was born in Korea, and I lived there for the first 5 years of my life. And then they immigrated to Australia. So, I started kindy here, I did all my schooling here, and pretty much grew up here. I don't honestly have the biggest recollection of Korea because I was so young. But yeah, ever since I can remember, I grew up in a Christian home, and I grew up in a Korean Christian home.
Oh,
So I went to
okay.
Korean church. I grew up in like I guess I grew up in a Korean community as much as I could.
Yeah.
That's the thing with Korean, like the Korean community though. They do like to stick together, and I think just have that sense of community while they are away. Because I think that is a quite prominent Korean cultural thing. They do like to like family and like just being together is like a big thing. So I think
Yeah.
I did grow up in that. So I grew up in a Korean church as well. So I guess there's like different there's a big cultural gap. Not just like a generational gap, but I grew up with like, yeah, I guess I don't know if you guys can relate. Like I don't, because Jari, you were born here.
Yep. That's
And
me.
Ethan, we born
No, I was
here?
born in Malaysia.
You were born in Malaysia. When did you come here?
I came here when I was year 4 or 5.
Year 4. Oh my gosh, that's pretty
2016?
late.
So a fair amount of
2016?
time. Fair amount of time.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair amount of time.
Yeah.
It's
Oh
been a
my
while now.
goodness.
Yeah.
Mm.
But yeah, I don't know if you can relate, but I remember I had a really hard time adjusting to like cultural norms at school and at
Oh, yeah,
school
yeah.
events, or
Mhm.
like going
Yeah.
over to my like friends' houses, and like they would
Mm.
wear like shoes inside the
yeah, that was
house, and
cursed.
like the typical thing of like, oh, like why does your food look like that? Like
Oh,
Does
yeah.
your
I
food-
remember.
Does your food smell like that?
Yeah,
That one,
yeah.
yeah.
And like, okay, as Korean people, we eat like purple rice sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
I remember like a lot of my friends asking me why my rice was purple, and I was like, I don't know, man. Like, I'm just
Because it's
eating
normal.
my food.
Yeah, it's
like,
normal. Yeah.
because
yeah.
that was normal to me, and
Yeah.
like, I guess that's like a common thing. But I remember there was like another thing of like, I remember one of my best friends' parents would ask me, oh, like, why can't you ever come to like play dates on a Sunday, or why can't you come over on like even in the Sunday afternoon? And I think it's like I don't know if it's a Korean thing, because again, I'm not really that, I guess, like dispersed into my own culture, because I don't know if I can, or at this point, I don't know if there's a big part of me that wants to be part of that culture, because I just haven't been exposed to it much, like
Yeah.
growing up past my 20s, I
Yeah.
think. But yeah, I think there's just a big like gap, and I never knew how to navigate that. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Like I just never knew how to navigate that.
Yeah. Oh.
Sundays are reserved.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sundays
for
are reserved for
That's like
church
a
and
classic
stuff.
for mine too. Even in Malaysia,
Mm.
Yeah.
Sundays reserved, and then Sunday you go with like your usual like families, like cell group families.
Yeah.
so,
And
yeah.
then you go out for lunch with them and everything.
Yeah.
By
yeah.
that time you're tired.
And you're just like
But
buggered
yeah.
by the time.
Yeah. I know a few interesting things there that you mentioned is that, I mean, first of all, coming from a cultural background is already a bit of a gap, right? But then you add religion into the picture
Yeah,
as well. So
that's
you
a
have
big one.
two factors there
Yeah.
that create a gap.
Yeah.
Because within those categories, they have their own rules.
For
Right.
sure.
So that's interesting. We can talk about that one a little bit as well. But I also something that you mentioned about that's right. So I was listening to another podcast.
Yeah.
So like there's a lot of people like us living in Australia as
For
well as
sure,
America as
for
well.
sure.
So I was just listening in to see what they were saying and stuff. And some of the girls mentioned that when they were younger, maybe around primary school or maybe more into high school, some of them experienced that they only really wanted to date white guys
Yeah.
because I suppose for them is a way for them to escape from their culture. And I was just hearing you say about that you couldn't really. I mean, I guess like where were you in this whole situation? Like, were you trying to separate yourself from your culture, or were you embracing it?
I guess that's a great question, because even till now, I don't know where I stand. There's a big part of me that wants to embrace my culture and know a lot about it, and I guess like just like love it. But from past experience, that hasn't been the case. And as much as I want to learn so much about it, there's so many, like, I guess the ugly sides. There's ugly sides to everything, but I guess because I've been exposed to, I guess, the uglier sides of Korean culture, and without the benefits of the good side, because I don't live in Korea and I'm no longer in a Korean community, it's tough. It's actually really tough.
Yeah.
I didn't quite grow up saying, oh, I don't ever want to date a Korean, or I never want to date a Korean guy because of this. But I don't know. I think there was an unconscious part of me that I guess steered away from my own culture because even I struggled with, like, you know, being a part of it. I wondered if I could ever fit in that part.
Yeah.
So it was more of that thing than running away from it. Yeah.
Yeah, was that in so did you feel that way like through mostly like school, like primary or like high school?
I think
Like,
this
most of
is
the time?
more through high school.
Because then that raises the
Yeah.
question, right? Because like we as like, I don't know, just people usually just want to fit in, right? So is it like we just embrace more of like the culture that we already put in? Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that does make
Yeah.
sense.
Because I feel like when I came here with the religion and all that stuff, it's like I actually like didn't even know Catholics were a thing when I
Yeah.
moved, and I like
Yeah.
found that out. I was like, oh, that's a thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
So I think like when you either like move to like more like Western countries or even like another country, where you get exposed to more like new cultures and everything. I feel I see the good and bad things about that, because like I thought about it and I was like, if I wanted to pursue like all this photography and stuff, I feel like Malaysia wouldn't give me that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for
Like
sure.
I feel like social media, like my views on it would be so different.
Mm.
Because like for Asians over there, it's just a way of like connecting, but for us, it's like more like you can market yourself kind of
Yeah,
thing.
it's,
There's like
it's an
more
income
outspread,
stream.
and
for
I thought
us,
about it. I
yeah.
was like, yeah, these guys like, it's like I think it's a good thing that I'm like exposed to two cultures. You know, the Malaysian, Chinese culture, and then the Western culture, where I can combine the two and two. You know what I mean? And like
Yeah, for
see
sure.
it from two sides. Where else like people stuck in it's not a bad thing. I feel like
Yeah,
in their
no.
own cultures is like they don't see that. I guess
Mm.
like
Mm.
yeah, but yeah. I guess that's why like a lot of Australians, which I respect for, like always want to like be very like dive into other cultures. Like yeah, I asked like
Yeah,
most
I
of
have
like
noticed, yeah.
my Australian friends, and they're like, yeah, I love Asian food. I'd rather have Asian food than Western food kind of thing. And
Yeah,
like them
same.
like even taking the step to do it, and like yeah, and they don't even like spicy food, and they still eat it and everything.
They still
you know.
try it. They're,
Yeah.
they're still, yeah. They
But
love
yeah.
it. Ah, I guess I do vibe with that. I guess I do vibe with that.
Because like recently, all right, because my parents didn't go straight into like a Chinese church.
Yeah.
Like, do you know how there's Indonesian churches here, there's Korean churches?
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
We went straight into like more the Australian churches, and we
Oh,
like
yeah.
got into it more. So like
Mm.
Sunday lunches weren't a thing anymore. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So like
Mm.
yeah. So recently I went to one of my my friends like family dinner.
Yeah.
And like I just like got straight back into like the Chinese vibe. Like honestly, it was
Yeah.
like crazy.
Mm.
Like we were just like 100 plus and everything. I don't know what you know what 100
Oh,
plus
man,
is.
100
Yeah,
plus.
yeah, yeah.
Classic
Stuff,
like
man.
childhood drinks and everything.
Yeah.
Childhood like
Yeah.
snacks and everything.
Yeah.
You know the like the mom was cooking. You know what I mean? You don't have to pay anything. It's like
Mhm. Okay.
it's all just like it's all free. It's all a good vibe. So I
Okay.
reckon, like it's a good. I feel like it's a good thing to go back into culture.
Mm.
Like yeah. Like I feel
so.
like you still stick to some. Like do you know like Chinese? Do you know how they do the? Oh dang! I suck for not remembering. It's like Chinese New Year.
Oh man,
The-
what's that called?
Oh, when they mix
Oh,
the veggies and everything. Oh,
and
there's
and
no way.
the salmon.
I
the
know-
salmon.
Yeah, there's
I
no
know
way
what
I
you're
forget
talking
this.
about.
Damn,
Oh,
what is that
I'm a
called?
disgrace.
Nah, me too.
But yeah, I'll show.
Damn it.
Yeah.
But wait,
yeah,
I
you
know what you're
that?
talking about.
You know
yeah,
that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Like red ampao. Like they call red packets here.
Yeah.
When they call it that, I was like,
Ang
what?
Wait, can you say that again? What did you say the first time?
Angpao.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm saying that right.
I don't know.
Angpao.
Ang
Angpao. You gotta keep that free money.
Yeah, that's it.
Free money.
But yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
man, I guess, but I think there's like some people that came here, and I guess for like my sisters and I, that culture and tradition didn't come with us, if
Mm.
that makes sense.
Didn't really
So like,
stick.
Yeah. So
Mm.
I guess for you guys, there's like that nostalgic
Mm.
like essence of like, oh, like eating like food that like the aunties cooked and like drinking all these like childhood drinks. Like we don't remember anything.
Mm.
We don't know what is from home. We don't really like there. I guess there's like, okay, chai. There's like banana uyu. Like there's like
What is
the.
that?
Wait, what is that?
Have you guys had that like It's like a little milk thing, like
Milkus?
banana milk.
Oh,
Okay, yeah.
Have you
banana
had that?
milk.
It's like
In
banana
Korea?
milk, and I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about. It's like this big, and it's banana milk, and it's like the best banana milk
Oh,
you've
okay.
ever
So it's just
had.
a childhood drink.
Yeah, but that's
Classic.
all I remember.
Mm.
And I feel that that's the thing. So like growing up, I remember I was like, what am I? Am I Korean or am I Australian? Am I Korean? Or am I Australian?
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
which one do
okay,
I
okay.
try to be more like?
Yeah.
Like I remember having like multiple like identity crisis
Yeah.
is because I was like, who am I supposed to be? Who am I supposed to be like?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I was very confused.
That's interesting. I think everyone will have a different level of that struggle, I suppose.
I
Because
think
for,
so.
for myself,
yeah.
I don't think it was as to your extent. For myself personally, I don't. It's interesting, like hearing it from you. I just because for me and yourself as well. Like for me, I don't have any childhood things like that. I mean, there's a few things like the white rabbit lollies that we have. You probably won't be familiar. It's more of an
Okay.
Asian thing, you know. South
The white rabbit.
the white
It's all
rabbit, you know.
Asian, but okay.
Does it have a little red
Yeah,
dot on it?
but see, like I don't know what that banana milk was,
Exactly,
right? So
yeah.
like, different parts of Asia will have different things, right?
Yeah.
But generally Southeast Asian,
Yeah.
right? Like we had the white rabbit lolly. If you know, you know, right?
If you know, you know.
But like for me, my childhood thing was really up and go. Honestly, like, so you know what I mean? So it's like it's
Yeah.
weird because like my mum was already like, you know, in the culture, like Aussie
Yeah.
culture. Like she wasn't Aussie, but like it was like mixed. Yeah, you know. And
yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know. That's just because like maybe in Singapore especially. I don't know about Malaysians, but they're very bilingual anyways. Like they speak a lot of different languages
Yeah.
there in Singapore. Like they're speaking Malay, Hokkien. They're speaking. I mean, I don't know. Is it like that in Malaysia as well?
Yeah, yeah. Oh, dude.
So I guess
yeah.
like in a sense, it's like easier for Southeast Asians to kind of like assimilate and like kind of
Yeah.
Right.
like take on another culture in a sense. So like I
Right,
felt like
right.
it was almost seamless
Yeah.
for me.
Especially Malaysia and
Yeah.
Singapore. Like you get like, I wouldn't think Korea has a lot of Indian food, would they? Yeah. So it's like Malaysia, you
I
get a good mix.
Didn't even try.
Yeah,
Indian food
exactly.
until
So
a
it's
couple
like-
of years
Yeah.
ago. Yeah.
Yeah. So Malaysia, I think it's a bit easier. I would say like
Yeah.
Yeah, I reckon.
Indian culture,
Yeah.
all that. It
But
was
yeah.
it was amazing. Like
mean-
going to
Yeah.
an Indian wedding, that was crazy.
Damn.
Yeah,
that would
Indian
be pretty
weddings,
good.
dude. They're like, you know, when you're like, this is not racist thing, all right? When you go into an Indian wedding, there are a lot of scents, a lot of strong scents and everything. Like they put like incense and
Oh,
stuff and
right.
all that.
Okay,
yeah.
yeah.
So it's
okay.
like, yeah, it's just different. It's like
Yeah,
so
right.
good. But yeah.
Okay.
I remember like my high school friends like who are from like I guess that like Indian culture would have like these massive celebrations for like their parents' anniversaries or someone's birthday
Yeah,
and
a
like
lot of
they-
celebrations.
they actually
They party
find like
hard, bro.
reasons to celebrate
Yeah.
people. And I feel like that's such a great culture or like
Yeah.
a great tradition.
Yeah. Ooh.
Oh man.
That reminds me of an interesting fact. Actually, I found out
Go
recently.
for it.
Okay, so you know in Canning Vale, in Perth, so you laugh now because you know what I'm going to talk about, right? You know what
Yep.
I'm going to talk about. But in
Alright,
Canning Vale, if you
Ah.
live in Perth, you're a resident. You know that the larger demographic in Canning Vale are Indians, right?
Uh-huh.
And now you're probably wondering why. Why is that? Have you ever asked why?
No, I haven't.
No, I
Well,
did
I
not.
found out the other day that Piara waters, right? You know, Piara
Yeah.
is actually a Punjabi word that
Really?
means lovely or loving waters,
Really?
which is why there are more Punjabi communities there because the mosque is in Canning Vale as well.
Oh, that's true.
So it's actually
wow.
they actually planned that they
That
wanted
is
to have
true.
a Punjabi community like as a
Wow.
suburb.
No
yes,
way.
yeah.
That.
That's just a little
So that was
fact.
strategic.
That was strategic. That's
Oh my
legit.
God.
Yeah,
and that's
so-
good. I think that's so good.
Yeah.
I reckon that
Wow.
actually is.
Yeah.
So,
So-
like you can like actually just be with like people
Your
like,
culture.
kind
Yeah.
of like
That's
that
so
look
good.
like you, sound like you.
Yeah.
Dude.
Oh man, that's so good.
But yeah.
So I thought that was interesting. I just thought I'd put that out
That's
there.
no, that's a good fact.
Yeah,
That's
there
a good.
you
If you're not
go.
from Perth, search it up. It's in Perth.
Yeah,
Piara
yeah.
Waters.
Wait, what's that got to do with Canning Vale?
because Canning Bell is like it's near Canning
It's
Bell.
nearby.
Oh.
Yeah,
But there's a lot of
There's a
there's
lot of
Indians in
yeah,
Canning Bell.
There's a lot of
anyway.
Indian restaurants there too.
And there's a lot of like
Really? I
Indians
didn't
moving to like
notice that. Yeah.
Treeby and like all those like Success, those areas. So
Interesting.
it's just around Canning Bell because of that. Yeah, so
Interesting.
that's why I brought it up.
Okay. Interesting fact.
Yeah, there you
Okay.
go.
But yeah,
But yeah, I mean, going back to like we'll talk about food and like you talking about the purple rice that you had in school and people asking you what that is.
Yeah.
I never had that personally. I don't. I've always had party pies for like.
Oh,
Yeah,
reasons.
yeah.
I
For
actually
lunches.
wanted to have rice and stuff for
Mm.
Damn,
reasons
okay,
and
so
lunch.
that's
But I
different
mean, I
again.
did. I think I vaguely remember what I had for lunch in primary school. I know what I had for lunch and stuff in high school for sure. I remember that very well. But in primary school, a bit vague. But I don't remember people asking me what's that. You know?
Mm.
Or do I? I can't remember. But
You get the what do you call it? Oh my gosh, not again. It's like a thermos.
yeah, yeah,
Oh,
For the
it's like,
rice?
yeah.
No,
When you-
see, I never had.
When you
oh.
pop that, when I popped that in primary school, all the heads turned, bro. I felt like I was a king.
No,
It's
it's
crazy.
crazy. No, but that's what
You
I like
pop that,
about.
They're asking, and I'm like, yo, this is just what I eat. This is the usual. And
No,
they're like,
no, for
yeah,
sure.
can
for
I have
sure.
some of that? I'm like,
Yeah, for sure. For
you're not sure. You can have a little taste. And they're like, you can have some more. I'm like, nah,
Nah,
gotta eat, bro.
that's it.
What do you have to give me?
It's all mine.
Carrots,
Carrots?
cucumbers.
Celery?
I don't think so. Not with
Vegemite sandwich.
Oh, dude. Okay, eating carrots alone was just like a to me first time in primary school.
Yeah.
That's true.
Like
okay, that is
cherry
true.
tomatoes. I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
hey
yeah,
yo,
yeah.
what?
It's not very.
What?
It's not
Okay,
very
I grew up
safe to
eating
say.
that.
It's
I was
not-
like, I eat grapes,
Oh.
tomatoes. Nah.
What?
not it.
Cherry
No,
tomatoes
you know what? I
nice.
do. I do admit that is quite fun when you see some white people looking over and looking at your food and like, whoa, what's that?
That
Mm.
looks kind of fancy.
And you're like, sure.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
This is
That's
just
the usual.
leftovers.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Leftovers.
The
The
usual.
usual,
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
So good.
But
Yeah,
yeah.
it's food's just so good. Like I
Yeah.
reckon I didn't even taste Japanese food until I got to Australia. Won't even lie. Not if Malaysia, like
Really?
Japanese food is like sushi train. That's it.
Oh yeah.
That's legit.
Oh,
Not even
interesting.
Korean food actually.
The- what-
until I went to Australia.
Interesting.
yeah.
Yeah.
I guess so. Hey,
Because
it's
we go to a mamak shop.
it's
The
different in
Roti
Asia. Man.
canai.
It's different. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, in Singapore they sell like bibimbap and stuff, Korean food, but like
Yeah.
obviously the vendors are not Korean. You know what I
Mm.
mean? So it's
Yeah,
not.
Yeah.
It's
It's
not
not
authentic.
authentic.
When you come to like a country like this, then obviously like the
Mm.
actual
Multicultural.
yeah,
like-
'Cause
yeah,
Asian people usually want to move to Western countries, right?
Yeah.
And
I
like
don't know.
the reason
Is it?
being is like better life, right? Is that mostly
better
it?
quality
Better
of life.
quality, yeah.
of
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
mean,
so.
Better government.
Oh god.
Let's
Okay,
say-
let's not get into that.
Yeah.
Let's
Okay,
not
okay.
get
At
into
least
that.
okay. I would say that Malaysia was in a tough spot. All right, was in a
Yes.
tough spot for
I
a
think
while.
we're all in a tough spot right
yeah,
now,
yeah.
man.
But I think
Yeah.
like,
yeah, actually, no, that's
It's
true.
like-
Yeah.
but yeah, definitely like
Oh,
healthcare
man.
system. Ooh,
Oh yeah.
bang in here.
True.
Yeah.
it's not bad.
Bang in here. I wouldn't even move to America.
Did not realize. Okay, I did not realize how good the Australian healthcare system was until American people started talking about their healthcare system
Mm.
on TikTok.
Mm.
Oh.
I was
Yeah.
like, oh my goodness, how do you guys live? And they were literally like, it's either like just die
Yeah.
or be broke
Yeah.
Wow.
and then eventually die.
Yeah,
And I was
legit.
like, what?
That's why when people break down, they're like, "Nah, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good."
Yeah.
Legit, it's crazy.
Yeah, that's
It's
crazy.
Built
legit
different there,
crazy.
bro.
Yeah, wow.
That's why you gotta
My
make it.
goodness.
You know what I mean? That's why you got
Yeah.
to make it,
Yeah,
man. They
yeah.
like
It's like a
money's
different mindset.
money's yeah.
yeah.
It's like good and bad, but I feel like
Good and
healthcare
bad.
healthcare should always be an option. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
I think
If
so.
like
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, like. But what do you think about how like our culture, like so I came from Malaysian culture, right? So then in Chinese, like we take off our shoes, we greet the auntie and uncle, but like here they say Mr. and Mrs. right? So like I think we, like we're just like more respectable, like we respect more. Whereas in the Western, in the Western culture is a bit more like, oh yeah, what's up?
More
Hi,
casual, more
hi,
casual.
Hi, Mister this and this. Yeah,
Yeah.
but like there's less like But yeah. What do you reckon? Like, was it same thing in Korea?
Yeah, for sure. I think honor and respect is a huge thing in Korea.
Mm.
And it's an even bigger thing to compare your age. So if you are older, you immediately assume honor and respect compared to your minor or your junior,
yeah,
I
yeah.
guess.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's one thing that I had a really hard time
Yeah.
adjusting to.
Yeah.
Because you come here and everyone's just sort of an equal. Like you call your mum's friend by their name.
Yeah,
like you go,
Yeah.
like he's like, oh, how
Oh
you
yeah.
going,
Sometimes they say
Jane?
like the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember like one of my friends saying that to another parent's name, and I was like, "What are you doing?
Mm.
What's going on? Like, why are we
Yeah.
doing that? Are we on
Legit.
just name
Hey, son,
basis?
can you,
Like,
can you take out the rubbish? Yeah, Barry, I'll do it in a bit.
yeah,
They say yeah. Like when I
yeah.
came out, I was like first ever play dates. We didn't even call it that. We called it
just
coming
like
over.
hangover.
Just hang out, bro.
Yeah.
Hanging out.
But it's like, you want to come over for a play date? I'm like,
What's
I don't know what that is. I don't want to be on a date, but I want to hang out, sure. So I came over. I was like, oh, hi, auntie. My friend looked at me weird, bro. He's like, what? We're not related? You
Yeah.
can call you can call her
Yeah.
Jennifer.
Yeah.
Jennifer?
Jennifer.
So,
like-
you know what?
And then my mom was like, yeah. She was like, find out her surname and
And
call
call
her
her
Mrs.
yeah.
I was like,
Ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am,
Sir.
yeah, I remember saying
Yeah,
ma'am and
yeah,
sir
yeah.
a lot.
See,
Yeah.
but that's the thing I like about our culture is that we call everyone auntie and uncle,
Mm.
and it's not just
Yeah.
about the whole you feel like a big family and all. But sometimes you might not even know. You might be related. You just don't know.
Yeah.
But
Well,
also, I
that's
just feel like
true.
it's also like a life hack. Even if you forget their name, you just say, "Hey, uncle,
Oh,
how you going?"
Yeah,
auntie,
auntie.
I don't remember all their
uncle,
names, so I
Yeah.
say uncle and auntie.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
If I be saying that and I don't say your name after uncle or auntie, right?
I
You know I
probably
don't know your
name.
yeah, so it's a lifesaver, man. It's a
Yeah,
lifesaver.
That
yeah,
is
for sure.
true. There is true.
Yeah.
There's
She's
some
like-
hacks to that, I guess.
Mm.
But yeah, then there's like Koko, all that.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, and then in Korean there's like oppa or nihong.
Mm.
Yeah.
Also, like I know Singapore has like national service and everything, but I heard it's pretty bad as in like in terms of like the respect given. So like let's say
Yeah.
in Korea, I heard that like if you don't go to national services because like
Of
you just don't
something.
of something that you
You
just
are
like
absolutely
you
put
get
to shame.
smacked.
Yeah.
You get absolutely smacked
sure.
in family dinners. People are like,
Yeah.
don't talk. You didn't go to Korean army.
Like it's a point of pride, and I understand. I understand why there's a point of pride, but it's just like, what if you really can't go? What if you really
Yeah,
can't
like
go?
sometimes they have other citizenship. They don't care. They still like disrespect.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's like that's like
Oh,
the bad
man.
sides, I guess.
I think so.
Oh, at what age do they go to Korean army? Because it's not the same for Singaporeans, right? Singaporeans are like straight out of high school, bam, you're there.
Oh no, no. I think there's like a gap where
you
you
live
can
life
go.
a little bit, and then
Yeah, so I think you can actually decide unless they invite you to come.
okay,
Really?
can you turn it down?
Not really.
So
Because
is
it's
it-
like assumed. It's like assumed.
Is
It's
it-
assumed, but like I think some people do it in their 30s.
It's like Mulan,
Some
bro.
people do it in
Yeah.
their 20s.
The firstborn must come to the army.
Yeah. So wait,
The head of the family.
no, but that's different. That's in a war
Yeah,
situation.
yeah, but as in
Yeah.
like,
Right, but this is-
but technically Christian in the war.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. I see the urgency. It could be any time, but like
that is true.
no. The thing. So is the what's the consequences the same? Like for example, if you don't serve in NS in Singapore,
Straight to jail.
jail.
Right to jail.
How many years?
Do you become like?
I don't
Is it
know.
like treason? Because like for some people, they can't even set foot on Singaporean soil anymore because they didn't serve.
I'm actually not.
Is that
too
the same in
sure.
Korea? No.
I'm actually.
Because
not
it's
too
like
sure.
Yeah.
disregarding like your service to your
Yeah, it's like-
country.
it's
Your
pretty much
country,
treason.
yeah.
Pretty
Yeah,
bad,
it's
yeah,
treason,
yeah.
It's very, very bad.
But yeah, it's like all that like culture and everything. It's like there's good and bad to it.
Yeah.
Because like
Yeah,
in Western
for
culture, they'll be
sure.
like, oh, like that's so strict. You know what I mean? You should be able to choose if you want to like
Yeah.
serve your country and
Mm.
everything
Yeah.
and all
For
that.
sure. I think that's a very Western way of thinking.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I think I don't know about like Singapore and like Southeast Asia, but
Mhm.
for Korea, there's a sense of like patriotism and like you're very like loyal to your country and
Mm.
loyal to your people.
I can see why. It makes
Yeah.
sense because
Yeah.
of North and South. And
Yeah,
like, there's
yeah.
that
And
strong
it makes
divide
sense.
and
it makes
Yeah, yeah.
sense.
that coming
yeah.
together. Like you can
Yeah.
really see why Koreans are how they are in that sense.
Literally.
Mm.
Stick
It's all in the
together.
history book.
Yeah, it makes sense.
And then so obviously from
Mm.
Malaysia, I would say Malaysia's more of like people like to call it like a lot of different Asian cultures go in there, so
Mm.
India and everything. So I like used to be in my grandparents' place, and I always hear like the mosque, like they do their singing or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah, yeah.
So that like I kind of didn't really like know. I just like stuck to whatever back then. I didn't take my faith seriously. So then I
Mm.
would say like, is Korea like mostly like Christian?
It
Would you
is, isn't
say?
it? Isn't it
Yeah.
your
Mostly
national?
Christian?
It's your. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is because like
Mm.
every country kind of has a like that majority.
Yeah.
Well, not every country. Like for example, Australia's a little bit more like.
Choose-
Everything.
yeah,
it's more diverse.
Yeah, it's more like I
Yeah.
feel like they don't take it as seriously because I know in like
Mm.
in possibly Singaporean culture, I don't know.
No, Singapore Christians big there.
as in,
Christianity
like,
is big
so
because
if like
Yeah.
you as part of the Asian family are not
Mm.
Christian,
yeah.
they'll like start to be more strict
Well,
on you.
okay.
I
Well,
guess, a bit.
actually, in Asia, it's they respect all religions.
Yeah.
But obviously,
That is true.
Muslim or Islam is the main thing.
Yeah, yeah,
is
yeah,
In
yeah.
Malaysia
Yeah.
Mhm.
and in Singapore, but in Singapore because they're a bit different to Malaysia,
Mm.
they still have respect for each religion.
Mhm.
But I think that Christians in Singapore are a bit bigger.
Yeah,
like mega
yeah.
church scene.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
There's
yeah,
huge.
Mhm.
For
Asia
sure,
in
for
general.
sure.
Asia in general.
But
Like
you know, I also
yeah,
realized
all
like sometimes when you like go into like a store or something, it's kind of like assumed. Like if you're Indian, you're in this religion. If you wear this, you're in this religion. And
Yeah.
I tend to
Yeah.
see that like
Yeah.
one culture means one religion sometimes, but then in other countries obviously it's different. Like or like, are you Chinese? Or no. Or like you're not, or you're probably not Christian. You're Viet. You're probably like Buddhist or something. I don't
Yeah.
know if that's right.
Oh,
but yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah,
I guess
yeah.
they put like
Yeah,
stereotypes.
And
stereotypes,
I feel
yeah.
like that's kind of normal.
Mm.
But coming
Yeah,
into
for sure.
Australia and all that, I feel like like being Christian, like it was a bit more clear, I guess. Like especially coming into a more like area where like mostly people are Christian as well.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I
was it the
think
same for
so.
you? Like coming from like Korea?
I mean, at age 5, I didn't even know what Christianity was.
Mm.
So I guess I found my faith here, but I
Mhm.
found my faith in a Korean church.
Mm.
Yeah, so it's
Mhm.
very, very different. I think
Mm.
I honestly still don't know how to explain it very well, but I just remember there was a lot of cultural rules that I had to
Mm.
abide by.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That were associated with Christianity.
Yeah.
It was kind of like, what was there? I guess I couldn't do anything on a Sunday because that
Mm.
Sunday is the day of the Lord. Like
Yeah,
you
yeah,
have
yeah.
to stick and you have to
Mhm.
rest on Sunday. What was one thing? I couldn't wear certain things to church.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
I remember being
Mhm.
like commented on for
Mm.
wearing like ripped jeans, full length
Yeah, yeah.
jeans.
Oh,
Yeah.
ripped jeans used to be bad. Yeah, yeah.
It used to be really bad.
back then.
And
Yeah.
yeah, and now I guess it's more accepted nowadays because
Yeah,
I guess
yeah.
like you just have to like get
Mm.
with the times.
Yeah.
You have to evolve. Like
Mm.
it's the same thing. It's the same way you like communicate like your faith with like the growing generations. You have to evolve, right?
Mm.
So I don't know. I think going back to your question, it was
Was it less strict here? Less strict.
I felt very
Just Korean.
constricted.
Oh,
I felt very
in the
constricted
Korean
a
church,
Korean
would you say? Yeah, yeah.
Because there was
Coming
just
in?
a lot
Yeah,
of rules that I had
Yeah.
to stick by.
Because they stick by it.
Yeah.
That's why Korean. That's why they call it Korean church. Because mostly Koreans.
Well,
know what I
yeah,
mean? Yeah,
it's a
and
Korean
like-
community church.
Yeah, legit.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's very interesting, actually.
Mhm.
It's not just a church. It's not just a church that abides by
Yeah.
the rules in the Bible, but
Mm.
it's a church that doesn't not only abide to those rules, but to their cultural rules
Yeah.
as well.
Exactly.
Which becomes interesting because then you start seeing that there's like a they kind of work together and they kind of start blending in
Yeah.
the rules,
yes.
and then it gets kind of blurry of
which
what it
is
is.
very
Yeah.
messy.
Because coming from a majority Asian church as
Yeah.
well, you can
Mhm.
see those things as well.
Mm.
You know,
for
like
sure,
Mhm.
for sure.
like you get tattoos and then they're all looking at you weird.
Mm.
Like, oh my gosh.
But if you go
like,
to
Yeah.
a more like Western prominent church, they don't really
they don't
give you a
question
double
it.
take,
Like they don't really.
right?
Yeah.
So it's an interesting way to it just adds a little bit more, doesn't it?
it does.
yeah.
It adds a certain unspoken pressure. I
Mm.
think.
It's
That's
yeah,
yeah.
you're getting pressure from two different fronts,
Mm.
correct. Yeah,
right?
correct.
And that can be
But like, how funny is
annoying.
it? I'm not trying to attack the Korean church or anything, but
No, go
saying
for
it's
it.
like Korean church, it's exclusive. You know what I mean? And I feel
It-
like church is
yeah.
a not
But-
exclusive
but
kind of
it's-
area.
See, that's what I'm talking about with
Yeah.
the culture
Mhm.
and the religion
Yeah, they
coming
start-
together, because
yeah.
it's like what Yewan said earlier about how Koreans like to stick together.
Mm.
And they kind of like look after themselves, which
Mm.
is not an issue. Like if
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
your
for
family, you want
sure.
to look after yours
Yeah, of
first.
course.
right?
Yeah, of
Yeah.
course.
But there is that sense of
Yeah.
exclusiveness.
Exclusive.
Which is not,
I mean, in high
Yeah.
school,
not the aim, but you know
Yeah,
what I
it's
mean?
not
That's
the
what
aim,
happens.
but
it's
just-
not the aim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and like that's a very good example of
Yeah.
how
Mm.
culture and religion
Mm.
blends into
I
something.
mean, I'm hoping, and I get that there's like different national churches. Like there's like the Indonesian church, the
Mm.
Korean
Yeah,
church,
yeah,
the
yeah.
Chinese church. I get it because our parents and their parents came here with nothing. They didn't know
Yeah.
how to speak. So I understand that there are establishments like
Yeah.
that. But I'm hoping that it sort of, not gonna lie, I'm hoping that it sort of blends and that everyone can just come together and be in a church.
I think naturally it's inevitable.
I
Yeah.
think
because
so.
we're what, maybe the first generation that
Yes.
that was raised here and that can speak English, and
Right.
I don't think the next generation from us is gonna be going to these Chinese churches, Korean
I really don't
churches,
think so.
unless you yourself are very engrossed into the culture still.
Yes. Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So I think that's inevitable that those churches will not, unfortunately, last very long, or at least they will, but they'll be very small.
I think it's also like a means to keep the culture alive. It's a good way to, I guess, practice your faith, but also keep the traditions and the culture
Yeah.
of
But yeah,
that
that's like,
community alive as well.
you know what's like funny when like people start saying, oh, like we gotta go for lunch after church. That's a tradition. You know what I mean? Traditions are like made, like it can be made within friends, and I feel
Exactly.
like culture can always be good and everything, and I love it too. Keeping those traditions good, but as well as knowing that Christianity is not based on culture and everything. That
Yes.
like that's why I love coming into a
right.
church where they've also like they're okay with like Western cultures and everything. Like
Mm.
coming in with ripped jeans and everything, and then people start to say, you know what, yeah, like that's okay coming in
It's
like that.
okay.
But also like sticking to like how like you dress and everything and all
Yeah,
that, kind of
yeah.
relating
For
like
sure.
to
Can't be stumbling
Christianity.
brothers out there.
Exactly, and I
That
feel
is
like
true. That is true.
yeah, culture, like what I find beautiful is that
Mm.
I am like, I would say proudly that I am Australian. Like I like dabble in like Chinese and Australian,
Yeah,
like
for
I'm
sure,
Malaysian,
for
and I
sure.
feel like that widens perspective, like for sure. And I feel like for churches to widen their perspective would be so much more like beneficial
I
for like
agree,
them
I
to like
agree.
accept other cultures and
Yeah.
maybe
For
like
sure.
benefiting off each culture and everything.
Yeah. for
It,
sure.
it'll take some time.
Of
I
course,
think it's
yeah.
easy to open up to diversity and different types of
Mm.
people,
Mm-hmm.
but the thing is like those people don't stick because the culture's still so strong in that
Correct.
particular
Yes.
church. That, I mean,
Yes.
like think of a Asian church trying to branch
Mm.
out to other minorities, right, or other groups of ethnics and whatnot. But yeah, see, like
It's tough because your presence is just so strong.
yeah,
Mm.
like
Yeah.
if you're gonna, let's say, I'll pick a random country because I don't want to, name or whatever, use few examples. But say you're from the Middle East, right? And you have a Middle Eastern church, and you try, but your traditions are hardcore. But
Yeah.
you try to open up to other cultures, and they
Mm.
come, but they can't really stick because you're still, I don't know, eating this food or doing these traditions. I mean, there's nothing wrong with the food that
Yeah,
you
yeah.
eat, but I'm just saying, like, for the lack of a better example, but it's like certain things that you do that you expect them to kind of like click in. Do you get what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
you're not actually really opening up and
Yeah.
trying to look at things from a different perspective and,
Mm.
Like
and
you've
be
lost-
open-minded
Yeah.
about things. You're still stuck in traditions, and I think, I mean, that will only fade with time. I believe. I
I
think
think so.
naturally that's all gonna go, and it'll be very interesting to see how things are in a couple years.
Think
Not even a
so.
couple. I give it a good decade maybe,
I reckon.
and then
I
things will be
reckon.
very
So,
different then.
Would you
Yeah.
say the example of like, let's say getting an Australian person to take off their shoes in their own house, would you say that's a bit like hard for them to click with? Because naturally you just walk in and that's your norm, but switching to this other norm of like taking off your shoes, as an example. Does that
Wait,
make
so
I
sense?
guess so.
So like that, like going on from your example,
Yeah,
kinda
go
like,
on. Yeah.
like trying to give that example to them. Let's say like a person comes in, a new pastor or something, and they say, you know what, let's start taking our shoes off going into church.
Mm.
Would you find that it's a bit hard to click when like you just forget, and it's like, and like how that relates is like as time goes through, you just like start to be like, okay, that's normal, like taking off shoes. But for other people, it's a bit hard, like going into the same place as you. Would you say that's like kind of similar to your example? Not really.
That's okay. That's okay.
Because like I feel like that's how it is, like going into
I
that.
get where you're coming from.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I'm just trying to like, yeah,
But I think I know what you mean.
yeah.
know
As
what I
long as you
mean?
know what I mean.
Yeah, yeah.
I
was
get
just
what
trying,
you
like-
mean. Like, I
Yeah.
think like Jara's example is like when you have something as strong as culture, because culture is something that you do with
Oh
lots
yeah,
of
no,
people,
I see.
right?
I
You
see.
see it?
I was,
Yeah,
trying to,
yeah,
I was
yeah,
actually
yeah.
trying to remember what my,
Oh, yeah.
what my point
Your
was.
point was-
Not yours.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
man.
No, that's for sure. And yeah, I mean, like, yeah, that's it. That's pretty much. Yeah, no, that is a good example.
But what I
Yeah.
find out, it's like
sure.
Australian churches which are already built. I feel like I don't know about this, but people are scared to challenge. You know what I mean? Challenge how like some leaders like do certain things. Like they may not accept certain things, but also like kind of like being confident in your own faith and maybe like challenging. And that doesn't mean you have to win. That means
No.
also learning. You know what I
Yes,
mean? And I
correct.
feel like we shouldn't keep it to ourselves. We're kind of challenging, you know,
Yeah.
hey, like maybe we should like try and like, you know, like change the system of how we're doing it because, you know what I mean? And I feel like what I am right now is like I've been looking at into different churches, you
Yeah.
know, I go
Yeah.
into some Western church and I go into some Asian church and I go into small churches. I
mm.
feel like there's all good and bads and everything.
Of
And I
course,
feel like
yeah.
one thing I found interesting was one church, the Australian church, mostly sticks with all boys cells and all girls cells. So pretty much what I find is that the boys are more like, you know, ooh, jockey, like
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
like we love
Yeah.
footy, we love basketball, which is
Yeah.
not bad. It's good.
Not
And the
bad.
boys get bonded a bit more. But I also found that they were a bit more ignorant to how girls feel. They're a bit more like, oh, like, you can't really play with this. Well, it's the boys, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But what else, like with my home church, it's like we do mixed cells, so it's
Yeah.
girls and boys. And I feel like, you know, there's drama here and there, but we're less ignorant and we feel like we're like exposed to like more like, and we accept like how
For sure.
they feel and everything, you know what I mean?
Mm.
But yeah.
No, yeah. On that point, I think I get where you're coming from with
Mm.
that, but I know that you know like a church that's been working with that system for so long.
Yeah.
If it ain't broke, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? And
But
like
yeah.
I guess like with a lot of things we are dealing with now, like Safe Church and stuff, I think they're just avoiding all of that.
Yeah.
Which is that one's a bit
Mm.
that's a bit
It's
that's
here
a
and
bit
there,
of a
it's
hard
here
one
and there,
because
yeah,
I advocate for mixed groups because of what you
But
said.
it makes sense that other people.
But it makes
Yeah,
sense
yeah,
why
yeah.
people would
Mhm.
For sure.
kind of be shy to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, always good and bads. But it's more about opening perspective, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah.
So what they
American.
can do instead of mixing cells is do more girl like for boys to have
Bonding
a workshop.
activities, yeah.
You know what I mean? There are
Yeah.
always ways to add that through into your system, and that's
Yeah,
about
yeah.
opening your mindset.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Open
And I feel
mindedness.
like as a person, as like anyone, I think they should open their mindset to other cultures and other ways of doing things because
right,
there's always a better
yeah.
way. And that's why like we should always like challenge that for like leaders.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? 'Cause
I agree.
if you have a cell where that doesn't give you feedback, you're not gonna learn.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You're not
for
gonna learn
sure.
as fast as
Yeah.
most. That's why
Yeah.
we always seek feedback. That's why
Mm.
yeah. And that's based on like who you are and everything. But
Mm.
No, I
yeah.
agree with that. Like, I remember being in my Korean church and growing up, and I remember not. There was a point in my faith where I started taking my faith seriously, but I wasn't growing. I wasn't going anywhere. The teaching wasn't quite, I guess, enriching my faith or like nourishing it. And I remember giving feedback to one of my leaders, and I remember doing this multiple times, and it would just sort of be taken as a comment. So it wouldn't really evolve with how our generation understands and communicates. And again, going just back to like tradition and culture, I think even the teachings and like how people communicate the faith is very I guess like very fixed in a I guess church that has like I guess just one nationality in it because they're just so used to doing things a certain way and working a certain way, which
Yeah.
I understand, but
Yeah.
I agree, there's definitely limitations to having such a fixed structure to faith.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's safety in tradition.
Yeah.
Yes, correct.
There's
yeah.
safety in that, and that's why they stick to it. And I think, as speaking from an Asian perspective, I guess like I feel like Asians are quite fearful of change. I don't know if that's
yeah,
just
you're
me,
right,
That's facts.
you're
but
right.
I think that's why their systems are how they are.
Yeah, because they just know what works.
They
they just stick to it.
Yeah.
like they don't want to hear your ideas about doing this and that, and
Yeah.
it's like. Yeah, like I understand that, but it's like, you know, if you want to grow, but
For sure.
that kind of
Yeah.
goes into something else. But yeah, but that's again which is why. But again, is that generational thing?
Yeah.
Generational gap.
It's a generational thing.
Yeah.
So we're talking about culture, we're talking about religion, now we're talking about generational, but that does lead back to culture. So
Correct,
yeah,
yes.
is what they were brought up with. Yeah,
For
So,
sure.
yeah.
There's a big gap in our parents and in us. Like I remember I still like go through this. I don't know if like any of you guys relate, but I remember just not understanding how my parents communicate. And it's not their fault. It's just because they've just been raised in such a different culture and different generation
Yeah.
as me. They grew up knowing that obeying your parents was just the be all and end all. But we grow up saying, well, you have to communicate what you want, and you have to compromise in a relationship. You have to, I guess, communicate your wants and needs, and that's how we grew up, and that's what we grew up knowing was right. So when it comes to communicating, I guess different ways of communication, even just that, it's different to how your parents are and we are. And I think often, I don't know if I'm going off track here, but I think often, because we don't understand each other fundamentally, there's a bit of a brick wall that we hit with our parents sometimes, because we don't really fundamentally understand them sometimes. Yeah, I remember hitting that wall and I was like, oh man, I remember like picking my brain to try and understand my parents better. I don't know if it.
No, that's a cultural thing for sure.
I think so.
Because it's like, I used to have a few dance performances and stuff like that, right? But then, I mean, my mum and my family came to watch one, but then after that, it's like they don't come anymore because they're like, oh, it's gonna be the same thing. But you know that you know what I mean? It's like they have their own ways of showing that, and like at first you would think like, oh, that sounds really sad. Like, you know, parents don't care about you, Jared. But it's not.
Say you love you.
But it's not true. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not true.
But it's like trying to understand those fundamentals.
Correct.
Right. It's like what you said. We gotta learn how they were raised. Like that. That was even more than what their parents did for them. You know what I mean? So
exactly.
They don't say I love you. They cut fruit and they give it to you.
And they leave it,
and
and
I
they
love that.
shut the. Actually, they don't even shut the door. They leave the door
They leave
wide
the door
open
because they don't want to see what you're doing.
No, literally, or like when you come home
man.
and your bed sheet's all clean, you're like, why? And then you're like, oh.
And you know.
I know.
Yeah,
I
you know.
know.
Yeah.
I
When
see.
you- when you-
my room is clean, I know.
When your dad overbuys this brand of yogurt you said was good that one time.
Wow.
And you just
Oh my gosh, that's the truth.
Wow.
You're
Just
like, "Man, I only said it was
boxes
okay."
and
Yeah,
boxes.
yeah.
And then they'll lecture you about it.
Literally,
They're like,
yeah.
why don't you like it anymore? It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Like,
because
why
I
don't
ate
you
like
eat it?
5
Yeah,
like
yeah.
a day.
Yeah,
I'm kind of sick of it. But yeah, it's all in love. And I
Yeah,
feel
it's all
like,
love.
Yeah.
like as we,
For sure.
I mean, personally, as I grew older, I started to accept that, you know, they want the best for me.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, seeing that brick wall always happen.
Yeah.
And I just,
Sure.
I appreciate that my parents are open to compromise. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think I covered it in my like the last podcast, but like
Mm.
them being open to like not just ATAR but general like
Yeah.
that different
and for
pathway.
an Asian parent, that's a huge thing.
Yeah,
That's a
exactly.
huge
It's
thing.
huge.
Because they
Yeah.
understood that I'm different, built
Yeah.
different. No, I'm kidding.
Mm.
But I'm different in the sense that I'm not like other Asian kids. I'm not like
Yeah.
like the stereotypical Asian kid. I'm
Yeah.
I'm not like book smart or anything. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
they had you had two older siblings as
Yeah.
well, so it took them 2 tries.
Yeah,
to
two tries.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because the thing is when
Trial and error.
our parents come here, they want us to succeed. So
Mm.
all
Yeah.
they have in mind is money, right?
Mm.
But it's not
Yeah.
that that's all they think about. That's what they
Mm.
love. But they just want us to live comfortable lives
Yeah,
because
that's
they
right,
know
yeah.
that living in where they were before was tough.
It's
Yeah.
tough. and
Like
it's hard.
if I was living in Singapore, there's no way I would survive there.
I would not.
Being
Oh,
myself,
100%.
I'm
Yeah.
a super
I just
cruisy
realized,
guy.
there
There's no way.
I'll be in the streets.
I wouldn't even have like enough like credentials to be a rubbish man in Singapore,
Dude,
bro.
that's true.
I think in Singapore you
yeah,
needed like
yeah.
a 99.9 ATAR or something like
To be
that.
the rubbish
Legit.
man.
To be the rubbish
Yeah.
man.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
That's a
So
joke, by the
true.
way.
It's a joke. Please don't take it to heart. Please,
a
please
joke.
don't take it to heart.
But yeah, you could go on and on about it, like how
Legit.
like culture can affect education, how culture can affect church, how culture can affect
Communicating with
yeah,
people.
Like honestly,
Yeah. For sure.
Like certain things that people don't understand why we do certain things. You know,
Legit.
hidden rules. Which
Hidden
we won't
rules.
get into, but
For
yeah,
sure.
that's something to talk about another time.
Yeah, for sure. But
But, yeah.
I mean, I feel like I want to like say this too. Like, I don't know if there's like a couple of you that just like struggle to get through to your parents. Just understand that their fundamentals are different. The way that they express love, the way they understand love is so different. And you may think that's just absurd and out of this world. And you could just think, how could you possibly think that is how I perceive love? But that's just how they were taught.
Yeah.
Like, I think just as much as you want them to be the first one to make the move, to love on you and stuff, as their kid, I think you still have that responsibility to actually get to know your parents. Yeah.
That that's interesting. Actually, it just made me think about
Yeah, go.
how we talked about like I didn't really like understand or not understand
Yeah,
but
yeah.
experience that whole like like these kids asking me like what's like the food, I'm me comparing my food to theirs.
Yeah, yeah.
But what I did compare is like what Ethan mentioned before. It's like,
Mm.
why did their parents do this for them?
Yeah.
You know, why doesn't my parents hug me like
Yeah,
that?
for
Things
sure.
like that.
Why did
So
they get an
For
iPad,
sure.
bro?
Yeah.
Why did they get the Wii?
why do they have a phone? Or
Yeah.
like why did they get to do
Exactly.
this? You know, but
Yeah.
you know, why did they get to I don't know.
You
whatever,
understand
do
long
this,
term.
but I
Yeah, you
don't.
play
understand
a
long
Yeah.
term.
sport or whatever.
Yeah.
Right, not that my parents like stopped me from doing that. I think it's just never like they tried, but like you know what I mean. It's like
Yeah.
it's
Like,
not their first thought. But
Yeah.
of course.
yeah, so
Yeah.
no, I think definitely what you said, I totally
Mm.
agree. So it's like, you know, if you're
Mm.
thinking that, think about what she said. Try to understand
Yeah.
why.
Be a little
Yeah.
bit forgiving with
And
your
open.
parents.
Be open as
They're
well.
learning just as much or twice as much as you guys are.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I think so. But
Um,
yeah.
But yeah, for those, I mean, for those of you guys that are probably around our age, 21 to, hopefully you guys have sorted that out by now.
Mm.
But yeah, but you know, sometimes you don't. But yeah,
Yeah. And that's okay. And it takes time. Like,
Mm.
and if it has to take time, it has to take time.
everything
Mm.
does.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. It's been
But-
a good podcast.
But yeah, that was. I mean, forgive me for my quietness, but I did say in the last podcast that I was talking too much. So today I took the back
You just-
seat and I was just a bit
that's
too relaxed.
okay.
I mean, this couch is really
Oh
comfortable.
yeah,
It is
for
very,
sure.
So it got me
comfortable.
really like dazed
Mm.
already. But yeah, but thank you, Yewan, for coming on.
No
Really appreciate it.
worries,
We've been
my
trying
pleasure.
to push her onto the show
Yeah,
for a
understand.
Oh,
while now.
man.
But it's good that you're here and we got to have a good chat about this.
Little
I
wholesome-
can't think of
wholesome
anyone
talk.
else better to talk about this topic than Yewan
Oh,
because
man.
she's quite passionate about it.
Oh,
Mm.
man.
So yeah, she's a good friend of ours.
Mm.
She likes to cook pasta as well, which she
Mm.
forgot
Do.
to mention in the
We'll
beginning.
check Instagram and all that
Yeah,
and the,
yeah. So
and the
yeah,
bio
go
and all
ahead.
that thing in it.
She's an influencer. You know, you can
Mm.
Oh, I don't
follow
know
along
about
what she
that.
does in her day. It's a lot more
Mm.
interesting than what I do.
Yeah. Oh.
I don't do much in my day.
Hey, don't be
You wanna hang out
saying
tomorrow or
that.
something
Don't
like that?
say things like
Hey, I'm
that.
gassing her up. I'm putting myself down on the low pedestal.
Hey,
All right.
you don't have to do that. You don't
Yeah.
have to
But
But yeah. Thanks again. If you
my
hadn't
pleasure,
noticed already,
guys.
she's actually if you remember Rose Kim being on the show,
Mm.
pretty privileged. They're sisters.
Pretty privileged.
Okay.
Check that episode
They're
out.
sisters.
Sisters.
Yeah.
Check it out again if you haven't. It was a really good
And they'll
episode.
be on here a few times too.
That's
as
it.
sisters
that's it.
and all
so,
that.
So
Yeah.
again, you know, we're signing off now. So YouTube, ring the bell, give us a like, subscribe.
Spotify,
On
baby.
Instagram, we post more regularly.
Mm.
We try to. And yeah,
Yeah, let us know if you
Yeah,
have
yeah.
anything.
and sponsor
us
us if
know.
you want.
Mm.
That's cool too.
Especially Yogos.
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 Anyone
If you
from
guys are
Yogos
listening,
watching, please,
Right there.
please.
sponsor
Right
them.
there.
There's-
Anyways.
come on, yeah. All right.
As usual.
As usual, stay fresh, guys.
Stay
Stay
fresh, baby.
That's it. Peace.